All right, Thomas. So I've been reading you. Let's first talk about the peace agreement with Hamas and Israel. Will it hold?
Yeah, well, this is something I haven't analyzed through yet, but the thing is that I think it's obvious now that there is this greater Israel project in the going on in the Netanyahu administration. I think like that's the aim, and if that holds, then well, Gaza is part of that, the greater Israel. So it, I don't, I'm sure they try, but if they get that, well, maybe they open or they have a second go with Iran. Then I don't know, but
That's what I thought you were going to say that. All
yeah,
right, so they stabilize one area where they don't have to pay attention and have as much of their military assets there for because I know you've been writing about that too.
mm,
You think the possibility, and I've been reading from different sources that the probability looks pretty high,
yeah,
and that it's not far away. A lot of people think that it'll happen before year end.
probably. Yeah, the Iranian accounts that I follow have been saying that the second round can start basically at any minute since I think from August or something, since August maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, and that's but the thing is now that both Israel and Iran are still weak from the previous matchup. So and Iran, I read somewhere, or there's actually one very good account in X. I forgot her name, but anyway, she explained, a geopolitical analyst. She explained that there is a drought in Iran now, which is the worst water crisis for I don't know several hundred years or something. And so there's also that, and the strikes of Mossad and Israeli Defense Force on the leadership and infrastructure of Iran. They have crippled the country somewhat. But on the other hand, there is this they have this massive missile capacity, and what I hear is they have now started to uh, work or try to manufacture a lot more of these mobile launchers. And I don't know. And Israel is still like what's the port? I forgot the name, but it's she.
Haifa.
Yeah, it's still damaged from the Iranian strikes, I hear.
Yeah.
And I don't know, do they have enough missiles, missile interceptors for, I don't know. But the interesting point here is now that it was like about 3 days ago, I think, I don't know, did you know this, but the Iranian military channels posted a photo of the commander, which name I don't recall now, checking the troops and the headquarters who operate near the Strait of Hormuz.
Okay.
And me and several other analysts are now saying that this was a signal to the US that if when the second go comes, Strait of Hormuz is not out of it's not untouchable anymore. And there Iran has several like ways to close it. But I think we talked about this already
Yeah.
before, but now it seems to be in play. And let's remember that one third of all the oil, or one third of all the gas, and one sixth of all the oil consumed in the world comes through that strait. You cripple that, you stop the oil and gas tankers coming through, and you have an energy crisis of epic proportions.
Are you buying oil and
No,
speculating?
I have just buying I have just been buying gold for now.
I know you got back in good.
Yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
about
It's
eight
not
hundred
gold for
dollars ago?
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, a
Yeah.
thousand.
Yeah, okay, nice.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
anyway, yeah, it's better late than never. But yeah, so I'm not buying oil at the moment yet because it's there's a play now because the global uh, economic cycle, business cycle is clearly slowing down. So, and
Yeah,
it will push down the price of oil. So and before something starts in the Middle East, oil can go down a lot still. Not necessarily, but it can.
yeah. We could maybe get to the 50s.
Yeah, even yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
In a recession, if recession comes, it may go even the 30s. But
yeah,
that's a well, basically that would be a depression. But
yeah.
it's interesting that
But if it's a supply shock, it won't matter if we're in a depression, oil will go up.
yeah,
And they hit the, I mean, that's been a potential nightmare for 40 years. People have talked about blocking the Straits of Hormuz. And
yeah, but yeah,
and everyone, most people said they'll never do it. It would hurt them.
yeah.
What about them using some of their missiles to hit countries like Saudi Arabia to affect
Also
oil
possible, but
supply?
at this point, why they would not? But I have to say one more thing about the Strait is that the Iranian leadership may now feel that they would become under existential threat if a second go comes. So if you feel that you have nothing to lose, you will resort to all means possible, and they cannot strike Israel so hard that it would destroy the nation because Israel would retaliate with tactical nuclear weapons. And this is why the Strait of Hormuz is in play now
Okay.
in the second
All
go.
right.
I'm not saying that they will do it, but the, it's in play in different ways than it was before. But what were
Well,
you?
desperation causes desperate acts.
Yeah,
And when you talk existential, it doesn't get any more desperate than that. All
yeah.
right, let's shift gears because I've been hearing things, guys that are pretty good that I follow that are saying kind of what you've been talking about for a long time,
Mhm.
that Europe wants to expand this war with Russia, that the reason the dollar, gold, and stocks are going up is
Mhm.
that the wealthy are fleeing Europe.
Yeah,
And Europe needs a war because if you think the United States has economic problems, they're much worse in Europe,
yeah.
and so you think that um, they just whatever is happening, they think that maybe they could take on Russia and win and end up with their resources.
Yeah, they may think that. I just the thing is here now that I think for the current European leaders, the plan may be much more short run, because if you take away the threat of Russia, the imaginable threat, then you have only the economic stagnation, which is turning into actual depression probably soon, recessions and then depression. We have, like in Finland, we have our unemployment rate seasonally adjusted is now over 10%. We haven't honestly seen such figures since early 1990s, and it's getting worse everywhere in Europe. Like in 2022, I think it was September or something, we warned on the deindustrialization of Europe. And well, at least I got a laugh about it, but I don't think anyone is not laughing now. It's happening everywhere. Like the industry closures in Germany are just massive, just unbelievably big. So it's just I don't. So yeah, it's I think at the current level they are at the current time it's more about creating this threat to survive. Do not look here. But the
Oh,
longer
okay.
play, but the longer play is probably something more sinister in a ways which you describe. So, like when I was in a conference in Cambridge about 2 months ago, it was a very close knit conference, and it was partly all together just to hear from the neocons that what they are thinking, and there were two of them, and basically they stated in the discussions that first they want Russia to be broken up, and second, there is no plan to end the war. So
Right.
yeah, so the longer game I think is that they are really going to try to take up or Russia and then just continue the war endlessly. It I don't this was a massive conspiracy theory, you know, a year ago, 2 to 3 years ago, but now it looks to be I don't know. There is something in it. You know, did you read my yesterday's piece?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm sharing? Do you see
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Trump? Yeah, this is the 2017 Super Bowl interview of President Trump.
All right. Did you want the screen? Because you're
Yeah.
not sharing. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. I'll do again.
All right.
So yeah. So
I think oil would go to 200, Saloom, if they block the straits. At least
it
150.
it would no. I think yeah. Of course, it would go very high, and you have to remember that most of the gas Europe uses during the winter comes from that territory. So Europe would freeze. Honestly, there would not be enough gas here.
Yeah.
So it's a very dangerous situation. But this is are you seeing now? This is my
Yes.
yeah. So
Yeah.
this is the 2017 Super Bowl interview of President Trump.
Yeah.
You think our country is so innocent? He's basically defending Putin and saying that U.S. has done horrible things. And what is your president doing now? He's planning a regime change in Venezuela and in
Yeah.
Iran. So what has happened?
His handlers.
Someone, I think someone has gotten into him. The deep state, maybe, I don't know. But it's not, it's everything has. See, he has had 6 months to uh, bring peace to Ukraine. And basically, the two things you need to have done is that first you stop all military aid, basically forcing the AFU to start, well, forcing the
The
Zelensky
surrender.
administration, yeah, basically to capitulate. So the Zelensky would have been forced to capitulate, and then you announce that the Zelensky will be leaving his position and someone else will take his place. These are the two things that would need to have happened. But he has refused to do those things. And if he has plans for regime change in Venezuela and Iran, why not in Ukraine? The questions I am asking, that is war in Ukraine decided above the pay grade of the president of the United States? This is the question I posed in my entry. Who is controlling President Trump? Because I think that's the only logical explanation we have left anymore. And then we
Yeah,
have
because he really wasn't close with European leaders,
yeah.
especially the first term.
Uh-huh.
This term, as long as they're buying weapons, it's a good deal.
Yeah.
He's not talking about putting boots on the ground like
No,
Europe is. Europe's talking. In fact, they probably already have boots on the ground in
most likely.
Ukraine, helping the Ukrainians with the equipment that's being
Yeah.
sent to them, right?
Yeah.
How does Poland fit into this?
But Poland is now rolling back in a way, in a sense that the president they elected, and they have started to roll back the criticism towards Russia. There is this kind of peace movement I hear going on with the ordinary people saying that we don't want a war against Russia. They have had several world wars against Russia, so they don't
Yeah,
want another. So Poland is like rolling back here, and so basically it leaves only the Baltics and the Finland and Finland if they're going to continue the war in Ukraine. And that just 2 days ago, I heard from the Russian sources that the AFU is retreating all through the front line. And
yeah.
today it was confirmed somewhere that this is really happening. So I don't know. Yeah, President Trump has said that very recently that now peace in Ukraine is really close. I don't know what he means, but so yeah, these are the
So,
yeah.
well, we know we're near the end game when Russia comes back in and tries to take Odessa.
Mm, probably. I
I
don't.
mean, those are the ports, right? I mean,
Yeah,
they were took some hits,
yeah.
but for them to show that they could control that and control the shipping, that would be a pretty important choke point for them to
It would be
control.
yeah. But if that comes, I think then the aim is to completely crush Ukraine. And yeah, I don't think the Kremlin thinks that way yet. I think they are looking something kind of middle solution between what President Trump has been proposing and what they are demanding. But other thing is that just earlier today I saw a video from the Ukrainian border stating that there's a mass exile of Ukrainians from the country because there could be no there can be no heat or water during the winter. So I think, in a way, if President Trump doesn't make a quick 180, I think the Ukraine is already lost, most unfortunately. But
What those people have gone through.
yeah, horrible. And like there has been no point of continuing this war after May 22.
Well, maybe Trump had a change of heart because Putin wasn't cooperating with him to do a deal. And how people become with the president, you could be his ally and then his enemy and then his
Mm,
ally again.
mm,
It's kind of like, dysfunctional relationship. Yeah. I love you, I hate you, I love you, I hate you. Maybe that's part of it because he set himself up for being able to settle this thing in short order. And here we
yeah,
are, people still dying there.
yeah. But the things Trump can do is stop shipping weapons to Ukraine and enact a regime change, remove Zelensky and take the arrest the former advisor of Zelensky, for example, who has said just recently in an interview that if he would be selected as a president of Ukraine, the first thing he would do is take a plane and fly to Moscow to negotiate on their terms. That's how it
Yeah,
goes. Like that's when you're losing, the negotiation come with the terms of the one party that is winning. That's how we established our peace in 40 and 44. You
right.
have to when you have lost, you have lost.
Yeah,
But Trump could,
yeah.
yeah, these are the two things.
But the settlements are very important because if you go back to World War One
Mhm.
and the settlement with Germany actually spawned the seeds.
Yep,
People knew after that what was it, the Treaty of Versailles that
yeah,
we'd have another war within a generation. They
yeah.
knew it.
They knew it, yeah. But it was very bad. But the thing is now that they were like major powers, Germany and France and Great Britain
Yeah.
and all those. And now we're just talking about Ukraine. And if like I said, there's no point of this war continuing after the May 22 because Russia had the
Yeah.
land bridge to Crimea already then, and everything could have been settled then. But we know that this did not come to pass because of Boris Johnson, the former PM of Great Britain, and the ambassador of President Biden, basically said to Zelensky that no, you are not going to make peace. We're going to continue fighting because we want to weaken Russia.
Here's a good question for you from Adi. What
Hmm?
do you think is the end game for Putin with China and India? More importantly, where do you see BRICS in the long run?
Well, if the current policies of President Trump continue, the BRICS will grow stronger. That's for sure. Putin is a reactive strategist, so he has a longer term plan, which concerns mostly Russia, and how he
Lost you. Thomas, you there? Can you guys hear him? Oh, you lost him too? Well, let's wait a minute, see if he comes back. The Russians got him. No, I would think it'd be the Ukrainians. Okay. Yeah, you never know. Anyway, it was great knowing Thomas. How, don't you guys agree? Huh? I've been talking to him for a long time. Anyway, I hope he's okay. You know, you know, that they didn't use one of those. All right. Anyway, guys, I lost him. It was probably my interruptions, my questions. So you guys having a good week, Hannah? Fred? Names I don't see a lot. There's Thomas. He came back.
Okay, that was interesting.
Yeah, wait, people were speculating that maybe the Russians got you or our
No, not the
administration.
Russians. No, I think it was NATO probably.
All right, so how do we wrap it besides owning gold through everything? Uh, you know, Europe, they're preparing for war, aren't they? Building
They are.
shelters
But
and
there's a grassroots opposition rising among the populace of Europe because they don't want war. But what I would say in addition to goal is to prepare to short, not today, not tomorrow, but maybe early next year. Because the markets it makes absolutely no sense that they go up. So there's a massive amounts of liquidity pumping into the markets.
yeah.
So prepare to short and buy oil in addition to gold. So I would say that is the
Oh, okay. All right. So short the market. I actually
not
think
now,
we're getting,
not yet, but maybe by maybe
well,
early.
I think within a week or two, we get an intermediate term top for a 10 to 15% correction. And
Could
then
be.
I agree with you, we melt up into the spring.
No, yeah, well, the year end, I would say. I don't
Year
know.
end is what you're looking for? Could be.
Yeah, well, no, but the thing is that there has been massive liquidity inflows from China in October, from mid-October till January, which have usually
Okay.
carried the market. So, yeah, but the problem with the stock market bubbles is that you really never know when they burst, and we're definitely in one now. So, yeah, but
Yeah.
when what comes to liquidity, it can go further from here. But with the geopolitical thing in Europe, there is really nothing much you can do just to wait and see. But I would not invest a dime to Europe at this point. Not anywhere. Not in UK. Not in anywhere. Don't invest in Europe. So
Yeah.
that's the main thing. I think to understand that Europe is a complete mess. It's a political, economical, psychological, and military mess at the current time. It's really
Because they never federalized.
well. I don't think federalization it's we have countries that whose history spans for 3,000 years.
Right.
You cannot. How do you federalize that?
Yeah, that's true.
And the structure of the European Union is much more stringent than you have in the US. We don't Countries don't have that much say than the states of the US have
Yeah.
a say in the federal planning. So it's been
Not anymore.
it has built like a Soviet Union from the get-go. So the EU either they have to keep it together by force, and I mean internal forces and external threats, or then it will break up at some point.
Okay. How do you explain the DAX at new highs with all these industries closing
I don't
in
know.
Germany?
It's the military industrial complex process possibly the Rhine metal and those. We haven't looked into those, but it's probably the defense industry that is pushing the indexes higher.
Okay.
Not sure, but that we know that the car makers and steel makers and everybody's collapsing there. But
Okay. Last question. The Russians have been showing the Chinese how to parachute tanks from an airplane.
I haven't heard that, but okay.
I saw the video. Okay,
Okay.
so the Japanese don't have a big paratrooper. They're training paratroopers for them.
Mhm.
And so when does China make their move? First of all, China said they can't afford for that. China doesn't want the war to end,
Mhm.
do they? Between Russia in Russia, they don't want the war to
What
end because it keeps their our attention spread between the Middle East and Europe.
probably
Isn't this
yeah,
their opening to do something?
it is an opening, and I read like two lines of I haven't specialized in the South China Sea or the Taiwan question, but they're like one group of analysts I follow. They are basically saying that China could invade at any moment, and the
Right.
others are saying that no, they don't want to do that. I'm starting to lean towards that China can do it at any moment. The preparations are so massive, but it will probably come when the moment is just right. Something happens in the Middle East or something. It's something that ties the hands of the US, and then they will
Okay.
move in because
Let
that's
me
yeah.
let me give you a couple of time windows during the year to watch. That would be October and April, and that's when the Straits of Taiwan are the calmest
Okay.
for an amphibious operation.
It could be. I was just checking. There was a few messages here who said that they're going to hit Iran probably, and then China would have communicated that their army is ready by 2027. Sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't hear you. I was checking the messages. So
Oh, that's okay.
could you repeat?
Yeah, that the time for China to go is when the Taiwan Straits are pretty rough seas most of the year. But April and October is when they're the calmest, I've
Okay.
read. And that
Okay.
would be the most opportune time because they're not just going to drop tanks from airplanes.
Airplanes.
They've been practicing amphibious invasions for years.
Yeah.
So that's when the sea would be most
Okay. So it's
accommodating.
so it's either now or in April. So
Yeah.
we very little time or some time.
Yeah, so April makes sense. I know a lot of guys are looking for a high in the market in April of 26,
Could
the
be.
end of this bull market.
Could be.
So it was great catching up with you, Thomas.
Let me add one more thing. What I hear from
Sure.
Finland that the rumors that this country, or the facilities they are building for the 15 bases they gave the US soldiers, they would be ready in a year. So for a war, I mean.
The bases they're building, who's building?
In Finland, that
Oh, I see.
which we gave to the US control under the DCA, the Defense Cooperation Agreement. The
Yeah.
rumors are that they would be ready in a year or a year and a half.
Hmm.
So
So that
if everything can blow up, if China starts to, let's say there's going to be another go for Iran in the, it could be even April. If it doesn't come by the year and it comes by early next year, China moves into Taiwan, NATO starts its operation against Russia, and within a year we are submerged in a global war. I think that's the worst case scenario, probably.
it is.
Yeah. But then, okay, yeah.
All right.
But
Anyway, say something to cheer me up now.
it's a beautiful day here in Helsinki.
Not bad in
No.
Cali.
I mean, the positive thing is that people are waking up, even in
Yeah.
Europe, to this threat, and maybe we get a counter force for peace before anything of this kind happens. So that's the positive thing. I'm hopeful, very um, in a small way, but still hopeful.
Okay.
You satisfied now?
Yeah.
You satisfied now?
Yeah, well, you know what? We all need to hope. Hope is
Yeah.
the oxygen in our lives, but
Yeah.
the carbon monoxide in our investing.
That's a
All
very,
right.
yeah,
So
that's a very good quote. Yeah.
don't get in the market and hope.
No,
Have a plan for an out if you're wrong.
that's true.
So buddy, great talking to you.
Yeah.
Probably talk to you next year.
Yeah. Well, you proposed me
Oh,
time, and I wanna thank the commentators. Uh, oh, the BRICS outlook. Okay, that's still missing.
yeah,
The BRICS outlook. I think, like I said, I think I tried to answer it. I think
yeah.
that if President Trump continues with this trade war, BRICS will continue to grow stronger. And they have. I think India has lost faith
Oh,
to
yeah,
to the West. Iran has
yeah,
lost faith naturally, and
yeah.
China and Russia. So I think it's a
India was a big loss because we
it was
had
a stupid thing.
huge.
That was so
Yeah,
so stupid.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but unless the BRICS fall into this internal fighting, I think it will grow stronger. Yeah, and
Okay.
Trump has lost the global south. That's for sure. Okay, but
Okay,
thank
that
you.
all of this stuff. Well, you know what? There's only one solution I have after an interview like this. I have to sing.
You have to
So
sing.
you
Okay,
want I have to sing.
okay, please do.
If you're worried and you can't sleep, just count your blessings instead of sheep, and you'll fall asleep. Counting your blessings.
That was very nice. You could have an career in singer entertainer.
Yeah, well, kind of an entertainer.
Yeah.
I I can't trade worth a damn, so I think I'm going to go on tour. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I'm looking for groupies. Here's
Yeah.
my here's my phone number. All right, Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Take care, my friend.
Thanks. You too.
All right, we'll talk
It,
soon.
it was it was
All
a
right.
pleasure.
All right, everyone have a great day. Today is yes, Thursday. We'll wrap it up tomorrow. Okay, Fred, we'll do something. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Adios, everyone. See you tomorrow. You could join the team in 10 minutes on the morning edge. Adios.
Hey traders, this is Blake Morrow with ForexAnalytix. Thanks for stopping by our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like these videos, share them, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the content that we provide here for free. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you in the next video.